Hello, and welcome to Too Faded to Play. I'm Eggs, and I'm here with LSD.
Hey, man, what's going on?
We're here to drink and talk about video games.
Yep, what we do best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, so what we got today?
We've got some Mortal Wombat.
Mortal Wombat. Check it out, y'all. Ain't that something?
I like this picture.
I do too, man. It kind of look like a
It looks sad.
like a koala.
Yeah, it looks more like a koala than
Yeah, with nunchucks.
nunchucks and throwing stars, a samurai sword.
I didn't even see the throwing stars. He do got throwing stars in his hand. But this is from Liability Brewing Company.
Yep, IPA.
All right, what is it? 7.0?
That's what it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, 7%.
Let's see, what's it say on the back here? Perfection is key. Alone is how to find me. Look to lupulin.
What?
Lupulin, I don't know.
All right.
Unsatisfied with life as a common quadruped, shunned the world over for radical beliefs, banned from playing any wombat games. A young wombat set forth on a journey of mystery and self-discovery that altered the course of their species for generations. This is the way of the mortal wombat.
Bye. So this wombat is basically Rudolph. he couldn't play any wombat games. I mean, it's cool, Ken. I like the art of it.
I just thought it was Mortal Kombat, Mortal Wombat.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's an IPA, so we've had a few of those now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and crack them open and see what it tastes like. Oh man,
Ooh, fizzy. That was really sweet.
Strong.
Yeah,
Get it again.
a lot of grapefruit flavor to it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of grapefruit in there. I don't know about the Mortal Wombat.
Yeah, it's not terrible,
No, it's not terrible.
but grapefruit is my least favorite of the citrusy fruits.
I mean,
so
it's strong.
it's strong.
It is
Yeah.
strong. But 7.0, you drink enough of these, you'll be on your ass.
Let's say it came with 4 cans, so that'd be enough for a good time.
All right, so we're going to have a good time today then, huh? Just like the cock episode.
Not that good of a time. I need you to stay awake this time and talk loud enough into the mic.
Okay, I got you. And also, the drink of my people, Hennessy. Hennessy Pure White. That's what we're going to be sipping on.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you ever had Hennessy or Hennessy Pure White before.
I've not had Pure White.
Okay.
I've had a shot of Hennessy before.
A shot.
Yeah.
Oh man, you in for a good time. This is a little smoother than regular Hennessy.
Okay.
You can't get this here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to get it like in the Caribbean. Like, every time somebody go on a cruise, I try to ask them, hey, bring me back a bottle. This bottle's like $80.
Jeez. Why'd you bring it here for a podcast?
Because I ain't had no money.
It's because you bought an $80 bottle of Hennessy.
You know how long I've had this bottle of Hennessy? I've had it for quite some time. So, yeah, it's 40 proof, man. But, I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're going to go ahead. We're going to sip on some of this a little later. But we're going to go ahead and get into some games, man. What games you been playing?
Weird game.
Okay.
Which I think is normal for me, and anybody who continues listening to the podcast will find that out.
He does like the weird ones.
I play a lot of weird games. I had a friend recently who made a world record speed run.
Oh, real?
On Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
I've heard of the show. That's a game?
Yeah, it's a game too.
What's that on?
It was on PS2, Xbox, and GameCube.
Okay.
He specifically did his speed run on Xbox.
Okay.
Because he's a fan of the original Xbox, and he's got more games than I do in original Xbox. Like his goal is to collect every game.
Oh, he got a lot of money.
No, he's just been doing it a while. But I'll give him a shout out. He's on Twitch. He goes by That Guy Joe UK.
Okay,
and he streams himself doing his runs.
That guy, what's his name?
That Guy Joe UK.
That Guy Joe UK. All right. Shout out to him, man.
He got his world record, and I was like, my buddy did this. Maybe I should actually play the game. He spent the last couple months just grinding out this game.
Okay.
Like, he'd be on Twitch for 10 hours just doing run after run after run.
Until he got it perfect.
Until he got it. An hour and 6 minutes is what he did to beat the game.
Wow.
So
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And he's still sitting there like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. I could have gotten this, I could have saved time here. And I'm like, man, you're fucking number one, man. Just
take the win.
It. Yeah.
Hey, a win's a win.
I figured I'd finally play that, and I was actually streaming it myself on Twitch, and I had him with me because I felt like that was just right.
Right.
I played it for a few hours. It's surprisingly fun.
Okay.
A lot of the movie tie-in games, they're not high effort, They're low budget, low effort. They just want to turn them out so kids go see the movie, and then they go to the game store the next day or the next week, and they're like, I just saw that movie. I want to play that game.
Okay.
So they're usually not great. There's some that are. There's some that are great, but like Toy Story 2 on the PlayStation 1.
I remember that.
You'd never think that's a good game. That's a great
game. That game was actually fun.
Yeah.
Really fun.
That was a great game.
Yeah, surprisingly, really fun.
And then there's been a couple SpongeBob games that actually turned out really good.
Never played a SpongeBob game.
They recently remade one of them a couple years ago. Battle for Bikini Bottom, I believe, is the one they remade.
I ain't hip. So.
But, well, either way, it's a movie tie-in game. I've been playing it. Mm-hmm. It's surprisingly fun. It's weird. It's wacky.
Okay.
You gotta go around the mansion that they're staying in, collect individual parts. Then they build those parts into a machine that turns into gameplay.
Okay.
So at one point you're walking around and you got to find these propellers, and then you find a pair of boots, and you find some rope, and you start putting them all together, and now you got glide shoes so you can glide around stuff. And it's it's actually pretty interesting because a lot of games like that, movie tie-ins, you start the game, your character runs, your character jumps, your character has one attack. Mm-hmm. And that's how the whole game plays, the whole 6-7 hour game.
Okay.
But this one, they introduced mechanics. You get a fruit gun that shoots rotten tomatoes at enemies. You build that and you get it. Then you get a boxing glove gun where you just ram people with a boxing glove. It's surprisingly fun. It's not a great game. I wouldn't suggest people go out and just play it unless they like that weird old game kind of thing. But
I enjoyed the movie and the series that was on Netflix. It was actually really good. Shout out to your boy in UK, man. Congratulations on making that speed run, man.
Great job, Joe. You deserve it.
Hey, man. Thumbs up.
I think the part that made me laugh the most is in the movie, Jim Carrey plays a character.
Right.
He plays Olaf or whatever the guy's name is. They couldn't get Jim Carrey to voice the guy in the game because Jim Carrey's not going to come voice a video game.
Oh, no. He costs too much.
But the guy they did get does his best to impersonate Jim Carrey. Sometimes it's so far off. The guy tried to do the "oh really" thing that Jim Carrey does. Oh really? And that's exactly how it sounded. Not like Jim Carrey at all.
Not like him. Oh yeah, man. Jim Carrey's GOAT, man. He a funny dude. Yeah, I've been on Street Fighter 6. Put Zelda down for a second. I'm at the point where I can fight Ganon right now, but I don't have enough hearts. So I got to grind a little more. But I've been on Street Fighter 6. Awesome game, man. Not like any other Street Fighter that I've ever seen before. The whole art of the game is just different. It's not that 2D upshot. It's more like a 3-dimensional. You have an open world where you just basically walk around the streets of wherever the hell you are. Tokyo.
How big is that area?
I have no idea.
When I hear something like that, my thought is it's 3 city blocks or something, couple of streets and a couple of vendors, couple of buildings.
Well, to be fair, I haven't really explored that part because I've been doing more of the fighting section. When I got it, I came home, I put it in the PlayStation, and I'm telling my sons like, yeah, come on, hop on this game, man. Let me show y'all something. And they like, oh, you got the new Street Fighter? I was like, yeah, man, come on over here and play the game with me and shit. So, boom, we playing the game. My son, he get on the game with me, and I, my go-to was either Guile, Ryu, or Chun-Li. But I can play with everybody, but they don't know that though. So I start off with Guile, Man, I'm sonic booming him to death. I'm kicking the shit out of my son's ass. I mean, I'm beating his ass. So, he saw that I beat him. So, boom, we run it back. And I pick Ryu. Man, dog walk him. Dog walk him, man. It was so bad. Man, it was so bad. I'm in there hype. Yeah, I told you, man, about this life. Man, talking big shit to my sons, man. I'm treating them like one of my homeboys back in the day. Like we be in the basement and we playing Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, man. We just talking big shit to each other, man. Big money on the floor too. So we get to the third fight. I play with Chun-Li. Everything's going sweet, and they, I'm still a little rusty, and I ended up dying that first match. So, they head got big, like, yeah, daddy, yeah, we got you. I was like, okay, yeah, I got my swag back. It was nothing. You didn't even get it was a perfect. Two perfects. I jumped up off the game. Like I told you, boy, you don't want none of this smoke. They don't know it though. So
they were too young to know about the arcades back in the mall.
Yeah, way too young. They don't know nothing about arcades. So when I was texting my homeboy, and he was like, dude, man, you got 30 years of experience with Street Fighter, man. You like a ringer. I was like, you goddamn right. Yeah, man. But it's a dope game. Like the design of your character is just so intense. Like it ain't just like you just pick your eyes and stuff. Like you pick your eyes, you pick the color, you could pick the shape, you could pick how big you want your eyes, how low you want them, how big you want your nose, like everything, like the detail. You could, in all honesty, you could spend hours just designing your character.
Yes, I know you sent me that picture of the guy you made, and it looked pretty close to just being you. Like, man,
I got, it was too much, and plus I had to go to work. Oh God, wombat. Yeah, it was too late, and I had to go to work the next day, so I had to stop. So I just kind of cut it short. But I mean, you can go really in depth with that. Like they got cyborg eyes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like it's.
So I've seen some pictures online of people making just like stupid looking characters.
I'm sure.
Where they just take all the sliders and either max them out or lower them. There was some guy he had the skinniest upper arms and then like full maxed the what's this?
Forearm.
Yeah, the forearm. And it's just a circle like Popeye.
Yeah, Popeye.
Like, yeah. It's just like
oh man. Yeah, you could do scarring, tattoos, and then when you spoiler, just so people know, you go in there, you train, just kind of just get like basically like a quick tutorial, what to kick, punch, stuff like that. But you don't get like, no special moves yet. So I got to work myself up, I guess, to train up to get to that.
Okay.
The other odd thing is like once you get past that point and you're in the street, they say, yo, you could challenge anybody out here. So it'd just be a guy sitting there with a suit on, look like he just like some type of the businessman, and he's walking to him like, hey, you want to fight? Dude like, sure. And then they just fight. I'm like, wait a minute. Like this dude was just at a meeting. And he got knives. He throwing knives at you.
So I heard somewhere, I think it might have been like a press release. Someone was saying like, you can just walk up to anybody. You can walk up to a hot dog vendor and just start beating the shit out of them.
Facts.
Like,
yes.
I was like, you beat the shit out of the glizzy, man.
Yes. You could do that. Like women, you just walk up to women just like, hey, you want to fight? Yeah, let's fight. Like, I mean, it's a very well-made game. I think they really outdid themselves with this one.
I say I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Right, man. It's a fantastic game, and you know, you still got some of the classic characters, but it's a bunch of new people on there. Mm-hmm. It's this man, it's a chick on there. Her name is Kimberly. Motherfucking thick, man. God.
Is she like a new character, or is she like one of the NPCs?
I've never seen her before, but she's like a new character, man.
Because the name I don't recognize the name at all.
She a black chick, got these pigtails. She's a graffiti artist.
Okay.
So one of her moves is like she'll tat you up, got these spray cans and stuff. And man, like for a cartoon character, man, motherfucker thick, man.
Hey, Street Fighter's always been good at that, though.
Nah, she thick.
We're gonna have to pause the podcast so I can take a look.
Yeah, man. But yeah, you got your normal Ryuken, Chun-Li, Dazim, Zangief, E Honda. What's the green dude? Was it Blanca?
See, I don't remember them all. I know the names. I don't remember them all.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I've said before, I'm not the biggest fighting game person. So
yeah, graphics fantastic, man. Fantastic. The backdrop of the art is fantastic. Like it's an awesome game, and I recommend anybody to get that. Like that is definitely something that you should have in your collection.
You know, I've heard lots of good things about it. It seems to be like the highest reviewed Street Fighter in a while. I mean,
and what was crazy, you know, I went to like 3 stores just to try to find it. GameStop didn't have it. Best Buy didn't have it. I ended up getting it at Target.
Yeah.
You know, they had it. Like, everybody's like sold out of that game. I couldn't believe it. But it is a very good game. I think everybody should play it. And if anybody wants some smoke, come on. Like, whatever.
By the time this episode actually comes out, I'll tell you what I'll be playing, because I know I'll be playing it.
Oh, I know what you'll be playing.
Final Fantasy 16.
Hey, we probably take a week off because you're going to be playing it so much.
Yeah, well, we'll still record the podcast. I'll just be sitting here. Yeah, whatever you say, Dave.
Yeah, whatever I say.
Whatever you say, man.
This guy right here, man. Well, yeah, man. So that's what I've been doing.
So we've decided, since we're recording these podcasts pretty far ahead of time, it doesn't make sense to do gaming news.
Right.
Because this episode is being recorded a month before it's going to go out. And by the time that news is being told on the podcast, that's
it'd be obsolete.
Old. Yeah. No one gives a shit about that news. So we've decided we're going to do a game. We're going to try to play a game each episode. And we're going to announce it on the episode. So if anybody wants to play it along,
right,
know what we're talking about. We'll be playing a game. We'll be reviewing it. And I bought a whiteboard here. We're going to be ranking personally how we felt about all these games and just like trying to tier them out.
Yeah, so, you know, we try to give y'all something else to think about, games you might want to try, games that we're both interested in, and you know, come and check them out, man. You know, kind of broaden your horizon.
The first game we'll be playing is Sphinx and the Curse of the Mummy.
Yes, Sphinx of the Curse of the Mummy for, was that PlayStation 2?
Yeah, we'll be playing it on PS2. I believe it also came out on Xbox and GameCube.
Okay.
If you guys want to look for that game and play it alongside us, or, you know, you can find it online somewhere, I'm sure.
Right, or you can just watch the video on YouTube and...
yeah, just watch along play. Actually, I think they re-released it in HD like last year on the Switch. So that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of the game.
Okay.
I've played it before. It's been a little while, though. It's kind of like a Zelda-like. It's not exactly Zelda, but there's some similarities to it. Yeah. You haven't gotten far enough to know. You're in the tutorial.
Yeah, it's kind of a long tutorial, but...
You're just bad at it. It's a 10-minute tutorial.
Oh, man, it's bad.
You're just bad at games.
I'm not as coordinated as I used to be. Come over to my house and play some Street Fighter with me, though.
Oh, yeah. You beat me in any fighting game. I got some absolute shit fighting games down there. You beat me in them, and you've never played them.
Probably. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get into one of our topics today. Let's talk about these underrated games. Well,
some underrated games.
I think they were underrated. I know a couple of them didn't do well, and that might have been due to like poor planning. Just, politics of the game when they was being released.
And I know sometimes games they kind of get snubbed because they'll release right around like a big release. So like if anything came out in the same week as like Grand Theft Auto Vice City,
right,
that game didn't sell.
And
everybody bought Vice City,
And one of the games that I'm going to talk about did come out the same time as Vice City did.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The first game that I'm going to talk about is The Getaway.
The Getaway. I've heard of this game. I've played it one time. I think my buddy had it. I went to his house and I played it just the one time, though. I remember it being fun.
Yes. The Getaway is basically a UK version of GTA.
Yeah, it's in like London, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shot in London. Kind of not as open world as GTA, where you can just go and just do just bad stuff or stuff like that. But it was kind of like, you had your missions. You had a couple of side missions, but it wasn't like GTA. Like you can go to the store and rob the store or stuff like that. You didn't have to really grind for money. And, it wasn't like you was buying cars. But they actually had two games, GTA, The Getaway and The Getaway 2.
I didn't know about the second game.
I've had both of them.
Okay.
They're both great.
Okay.
The game was supposed to come out. It was supposed to launch. It was supposed to be one of the games that launched with the PS2.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it ended up getting pushed back like 27 months. And that's because they was having difficulty with designing London for the game. So they was having like a bunch of problems with the development of the game. And that was the reason why they had pushed it back. But when they did push it back, it dropped the same week as GTA Vice City.
Yeah, and you're not
You're
not beating Vice City.
No.
Not beating Vice City.
No. And what's crazy is it was a really, really fun game, Like me and my homeboys, we loved it. We sit up, we just play it like pretty much all night. And the one thing that was so funny about the game is when you get shot a bunch of times and you need to heal. So you had to just like lean up against the wall. And I just remember being my homeboys like, hurry up, man, get to the wall, get your lean on. And we leaning all up against the wall, try to heal up.
Yes, I actually didn't know that. I didn't know you could do that. When my buddy and I would play it, it would always be you just run around and once you die, you pass the controller to the other person. So maybe he just purposely didn't tell me you could lean on the wall to reheal.
Yeah,
which I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I didn't actually know you could do that.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. So like the other cool part was the cars in the game. Like it was like Porsches, Bentleys, Range Rovers. Like it was a really, really fun game. Like just a heavy crime game. It was kind of like a cop, but he was being like blackmailed by the mob.
Oh, so like Driver.
Right. But that's one of the games I think is just like highly underrated. Like it could have done so much better if Grand Theft Auto didn't come out the same day. But then they actually did a part 2, which was also good. And there was going to be a part 3, but just fizzled out.
Okay.
So The Getaway, if you never played it, check it out. Fantastic game. A lot of people slept on it, and I think it should get his flowers or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see some games that just didn't catch on, especially when they are good games.
Right.
Because if they could have continued, they could have made something great out of it.
Right.
Or potentially made something great out of it. Some people just flub a game later down the line, but that's a different topic.
Yeah, we definitely had to talk about flubbing games because it's games that should have been great weren't great. So we'll get on that another show.
I got a list of like 20 games I can talk about that. Like
Dope.
The first game was amazing, second game was really good, third game was just absolute shit.
Man, listen. Jesus Christ, man. That one hurt my chest.
I made a lot of waveform on the...
Wow.
You see that dense waveform?
Off the Richter scale. All right, so we're going to get into another one. This one was like a personal favorite of mine. It was first person shooter. I want to say it was kind of ahead of the Modern Warfare, and this one was called Black.
Black, okay.
Yeah.
I know of the game. I've not played it.
I mean, it's just heavy on guns. Like,
okay.
just heavy on guns and murder. So you just basically a black op team. Well, not even a team. You're a black op.
Okay.
You are the team, and it's just full campaign.
Okay.
Just
military style, like somewhat similar to a Call of Duty.
Yeah, similar to a Call of Duty, military style. The graphics look really good for the time. This one came out in 2006 for all platforms. It was
was that 2006 would be right on that line. So was it like PS2, GameCube, or did it push into the 360, PS3?
PS2, Xbox. I think GameCube too.
Okay, because 2006 is when PS3, 360. I think 360 was 05. PS3 was 06. I believe Wii was also 06, but that wouldn't have been on Wii. Wii was too family friendly.
Right. But like the game just basically was just destruction. That's all it was. Like bombs, guns, blood, gore. Like, man, it was a fantastic game.
Was there like actual destructible environments, or was it like...
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, no one was doing that at the time.
No. And I think this came out before Modern Warfare, when, you remember Call of Duty, they was basically like kind of like World War II, whatever, the old wars. But when Modern Warfare came out, that's when like everybody was like, I gotta cop this game, you know? And Black was like kind of just ahead of his time. They only made one game. They only made that one game. I think they could have made a couple more.
Yes, I do know. Like I said, I know of the game. I've never played it. I'll have to look for it though, especially PS2.
I think I got 2 copies.
Okay.
So let me dig through and I'll give you one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can play that for one of the game review things we do.
Definitely, we gotta do Black. And next game I got Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno. Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played Dante's Inferno.
I've not played it myself.
So,
I know plenty of people. I shouldn't say plenty. I know a few people who have, but.
So Dante's Inferno was basically about a knight from the Knights Templar. So his quest is to fight through the 9 circles of hell. So he just got to go down 9 levels of hell to try to save his girlfriend, Beatrice. It's kind of like a slasher type game, just like a God of War.
Okay.
It got the same type of moves. That was on all platforms. I had it on PlayStation 3, I think.
Okay. I'd be curious to play it to see how similar some of the stuff is to like the book Dante's Inferno.
Right.
Which is very much not like an action book. It's a weird pseudo-religious book.
But it's one of those divine comedies. That's what
it's one of the divine comedies.
Yeah. But the game though, like the graphics for the time looked amazing. It played just like God of War. You get up and you got to press like X and triangle and all this stuff to do like these special moves. And he had like this giant Reaper sickle. Like, oh man, it was so badass. Like it was a very fun game. I think I beat it in a weekend.
Oh really? Yeah.
I didn't turn it off. Like that's all I did. Like I got it that Friday and I just beat it by Sunday. It was done. But I don't think I have it.
Okay.
So that's something.
We look forward on our next crawl.
We're overdue.
We're overdue for a crawl.
We need to go to a good crawl. I got a surprise though.
Oh.
But we ain't gonna talk about it till it's in my hand.
Oh, okay.
But
so next episode, basically.
Yeah, like, right. But I know it's coming though, and I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. You can see the Christmas in my eyes. I'm so excited, man. I'm so amped up to get this game. you might not see me. No, you're going to have to come over and check it out, man, so you can get the whole feeling that I feel for this game. But
was that, do you want me to try to guess at it? Do you think I could
no,
have
you'll
an
get
idea?
it first try.
Oh, okay.
You'll
All
get
right,
the first try.
I won't.
But yeah, man.
I'll cut it out of the podcast here. Does it start with an R?
Yes.
Maybe
man.
I'll leave that in the podcast.
Yes, it's coming.
Yeah, okay.
I'm excited, man. It's Christmas all over again. Another game. A lot of people didn't know about this game. It came on SNES, so I took it back a little bit. Okay. And this was Act Risers.
Yeah.
So this game was kind of like he was like a knight, and he had to liberate. Like, so you start off on this island, and you have to travel to different parts of the island to liberate these towns of these ghosts or demons or whatever. So they were like, hey, we're being attacked. You got to come over here. And, you go over there. You go to a small little area, and you got to pretty much kill all the monsters in this area. And the guy was just, the graphics for the time, it was what, 16-bit?
Yeah.
It looked cool. But like looking at it now, it doesn't really hold up, but it was a fun game.
Oh man, I love the 16-bit look. So
okay,
I think 16-bit still looks good.
Yeah,
like there's a uniqueness to it. I know we've talked about this game before.
Yeah,
and it's one of the few games I shouldn't say few. It's one of the games that I'm looking for my Super Nintendo. We've talked about it a few times.
Right.
I've never looked the game up. I've never tried. I don't want to spoil myself too much on the game.
It's so fun.
Because I've heard you talk about it and like some of the stuff you do, and I'm like, I want to play that game.
Just the music to the bed is the music to the game is really good. But the part that I really like when he swing his sword, he just make this sound like every time. It's so good. But like the beast in there was just it was for the time, it was just really well drawn or created or whatever. But like, it's a fun game. It kind of reminds me, like, because you got to like build you got to build too. So you got to build your town up before you go to the next level. So I thought that was a cool aspect of the game, because it just wasn't completely fighting. You had to clear this area out just so you could build stuff over there. And I thought that was a really fun part of the game. Man, it is so fun. Like, I hope you can find it. Yeah. I don't own an SNES yet. I'm still looking for one. Hopefully my homeboy come through for me. But that would be one of the games I have to have.
Yeah, no, I've been looking for it. And I think the reason we had started talking about it originally was because I had brought up a game to you, which this fits into the games I feel like were underrated. There's a game on the PS2 called Dark Cloud.
I heard of Dark Cloud.
Yeah, it's a similar thing to that. You go into these dungeons, and they're like procedurally generated. So every time you go in, it's completely different. And you've got to go through, and you've got to fight these monsters. You got to collect items, and there's these like orbs that you collected. Inside the orb is like a person or a part of a house or something like that. And as you go through these dungeons, there's like tons of floors that you have to go through individually. You leave the dungeon, and then you got to take those parts, and you got to build a city, a town, And I think I was telling you about that a few years ago, and that's when you brought up ActRaiser. Yeah. And it was...
Yeah, and how I found that game, I think this was called Electronic something. Okay. So they had like an ad in there, and they just had like, a couple snapshots of the game. And I was like, that looked kind of cool, we no YouTube back then, so you couldn't look up the game, so I actually had to go physically buy this game. And man, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good purchase. I think it was $39 at the time. Yeah. So man, how we just get games for $70 now.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, inflation though.
No, I don't want to hear that shit.
And inflation, games have been the same price. Oh my God. It's just inflation.
Man, oh my God.
It's just inflation.
Yeah, true. But Yeah, man, we got to find that game. I think you really enjoy it. Like, just the art of it, the gameplay. Like, I think you'll get sucked in.
I think the most I've actually seen of the game was, I think it was a year or two ago now. They did a remake of it on the Switch.
Did they?
Yeah, it's on the Switch.
Holy
it's
shit.
modern graphics and stuff.
Oh, I'm about to go play it.
Yeah. I just want to play the Super Nintendo version because, like I said, I love that 16-bit stuff. So,
but they actually made a part 2, but I never got it. I never saw it. So I'm gonna have to. That's one of the things I'm gonna have to get for the collection. I know they made a part 2. I never seen it, but I know that they made a second part to it.
Okay. I don't know if the Switch one is digital only or not. So.
Okay.
So I've never, like I said, I want the Super Nintendo version.
Man,
so I never even
fun.
looked into the Switch.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's a good game. I think you'll really like it. All right, so before we get into this last game, we've been drinking on this Mortal Wombat, but we ain't poured up none of this white Henny.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's pour some of this white Henny. I know my boy, he up in the land. He's smiling right now. He's like, yeah, y'all drinking Henny. This is my homeboy's drink right here, a choice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he love Hennessy. Like, if he could replace his blood with Hennessy, that's what he'll do. But
I'm not going to take too much. It's an $80 bottle of Hennessy.
that's why I've been holding on too long. Shoot, I don't know nobody going on no cruises no time soon. I know I'm not going on one.
Yeah,
So.
I'm definitely not going on cruises.
Right.
Have you watched Titanic? That's why I don't go on cruises.
They're actually kind of fun. I just can't do a 7-day. I did a 7-day. No.
Dude, Titanic is a horror movie. Every single man in that movie dies. Every single man in that movie dies.
You right.
Yeah.
Because I forgot, like, the woman survived. But
yeah. The women and children. Every single man dies in that movie.
Well, let's get into this game right here, though. 13.
I do know this game.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I know it.
Oh, man. It was such a fun game. I don't know why. It did poorly. All across the board, it just did poorly. Like, a lot of people didn't like the game, but I guess maybe because it was basically a comic book. It looked like a comic book. So when you shot, it said pow. When you hit somebody, it said, it was like Batman from the 60s. You hit somebody in the face, it'd be like, whop.
See, I love that shit. Like, you hit a point where Call of Duty whenever every shooter's trying to be a Call of Duty, it just gets boring. Like,
Yeah.
I love that shit when there's just like something unique to it. That's why I loved Borderlands, is because it has the same kind of art style, that comic booky art style. It's like funny. They do stupid shit. Like, it's not just a Call of Duty.
Right. You know, just the same thing that they just keep cranking out. You know, like it was different from at the time it came out 2003. So it was just different. You know, like me and my best friend, we liked the game, but you know, a lot of people didn't like it. They said it was just poorly perceived.
I know they did a remake of it a year or two ago, and that people weren't too happy about that because they didn't do the comic book art style. It was more, there was like a little bit of a cartooniness to it, but it looked realistic, which is not what people wanted. They wanted that cartoon style. So even the people who already liked 13 didn't buy the remake because
it wasn't the cartoon style. Like, I really liked the comic book style. I thought it was a dope concept, and like me and my best friend, we liked it, and they were supposed to come out with the sequel, but they just never came out with it.
I think the thing I like about that comic book art style is because even though that game was on like the PS2, the GameCube and stuff, I still think that game looks kind of good. Yeah. Like, graphically, it still looks somewhat good. It didn't like deteriorate.
No.
Like, it's because it's that cool art style that you got. It's a cell shaded is what it's called, you know, that it's cartoony, but like that holds up. That looks good down the line. Games like Zelda Wind Waker still look good. That was on the GameCube. Yeah.
That was like the cartoon Zelda. Like, he was like a little boy. Yeah. But it still holds up, you know, graphic wise. you know, because it wasn't like most games at the time, like kind of like that boxy style type of game. And I thought 13 was awesome. It was just something that they could have made a bunch of money off of that game. But I guess 2003, what was the game for 2003 that was probably hot? But, you know, like people wanted more realistic type of shooters and stuff like that. I think probably like Battlefield or Call of Duty.
I'm sure Call of Duty came out that year. I'm pretty sure God of War came out that year.
Right.
Yeah, that was like that time where gamers were like, I'm grown up, I'm big,
right.
I need man games. Yeah,
you know,
I can't be playing anything that looks kitty
and stuff
I need guns and gore and
right.
you know, beating people up. And
I think that's exactly what it was, because it was real cartoony. But it was funny though. It had like a little comedic type of gameplay. When you shoot the guns, it always said bang. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes, I like that stuff. I like that kind of thing.
It just reminded me of old Batman. Hit him, zop. But it was a good game, man. I thought it should have did better, but it just didn't do well. It developed like kind of like a cult following.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's definitely a cult classic. Cause I know of people I've seen online that liked the game, and they were initially really excited about the remake, but like I said, they kind of flubbed that whole thing.
Yeah, I heard that remake didn't do good at all.
The game came out and it had such a poor reception that they announced as DLC they were going to do like a cel-shaded art style. I'll be fair. I don't know if it was paid for DLC. I don't know if it was one of those free DLCs that, you know, like you can download later as like a sorry.
But like, sorry.
But the game came out and people just weren't happy.
Oh, we're sorry.
We're sorry. Please buy our video game. We messed up. Please buy a video game.
Yeah, they did, man. It was such a good game that I couldn't believe that nobody liked it. I think out of my friends, or just me and my best friend, we liked it. And we thought it was like a very fun game. And
yeah, no, that's a game that I want.
Yeah.
I wish I could get it. I've seen it, I think, once or twice.
I've never seen it.
It's always been at like the bigger shows, and it's never been a game that I wanted to spend the money on at the time, because normally
the price on
it was never too bad. It was like $15 to $20 or something like that.
Not that bad, no.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. The problem is, by the time I would see the game, I had already purchased like 3 other $90 games.
Oh yeah, you did.
And I'm like, I can't spend any more money.
So
I was like, I'm priced out.
So for people who don't know, we go to these game crawls, we go to Comic Cons, we go to toy shows and stuff like that. And usually I'm the bad one. Like I'll drop $800 quick. But you know, my man over here, Eggs, he drops maybe 100, 200.
I'll drop 1 to 200.
Right, 1 to 200. So the last show we went to, I actually was the one who dropped like $100, but my man Eggs over here.
Yeah, I think it was about 600.
Yeah,
I think is what I ended up spending.
I was like, so you gonna get this? You know you want it? And I ain't know. I'm a terrible friend. I'm over here egging him on, but he did that to me too.
Yeah, I've done that to him a few times.
All right, so
he's like, man, this Transformer is like $400. I'm like, yeah, but you know it would look good on a shelf.
That's another podcast. We talk about my collection of Transformers, but yeah, man. Like, I got one more game though.
Alrighty,
one more game. Def Jam, Fight for New York.
I feel like I've heard of that. That's a Super Nintendo game, right?
That was on that was on PlayStation 2. I want to say.
Okay, maybe I haven't heard of it then.
So Def Jam. Pretty much all the rappers from Def Jam. Method Man.
It's that street fighting one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do know this game.
Oh my God, that game was so much fun. And I had it. I think they came out with two. They came out with 2.
Okay.
Def Jam. I think one's for Fight for New York, and I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, it was so good. You had Ghostface Killer with the big medallion, the Tim boots, Method Man with Tim's stumping you in the face. They suplexing you like, man, the game was just so ridiculous, but it was fun because, you know, you got your favorite rappers in there fighting each other.
Uh-huh.
And the soundtrack to the game was dope.
Did they just have like the songs from the artists in there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
you listen to like Wu-Tang, you listening to Method Man, you listen to Ghostface. I think Redman was Redman on there? Man, I can't remember who was all on there. I just remember Ghostface and Method Man.
Okay.
And I don't think Nas was on there. I can't remember who else was on there. But it was just such a fun game. And you know what that game going for?
Seeing as you're asking me, probably way too much.
Way too much. And I'm sitting here like, I fucking had that game. And that game's like, dude, in the case, you probably looking about $350. Yeah.
Dude, there's so many games that I'm like, that I've had that situation where like, man, I had that game.
Mm-hmm. I had it.
It was a Pokemon spin-off game, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. Okay. There was a small little game shop. It wasn't GameStop. What was it? It was GameFly? No.
Before GameStop?
No, it was like GameStop was out. It was like a competitor to GameStop.
Okay.
I want to say it was like GameFly or something like that.
I remember Funko Land. Was it Funko Land?
No, it wasn't Funko Land. It was Game something.
Okay.
And they were going out of business because they were just no competition for GameStop. I went in there and I bought like 5 games, and I picked up specifically that Pokemon game in the case, unopened, sealed and everything. $5.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting here, I think it was last year, I was sitting here and I was like, man, I kind of want to play that game again. I haven't played that game since I sold it back in 2011 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Typing in on eBay, $125.
That's good.
I'm like, fuck, I paid $5 for that game.
Like, don't even get me started on some of these games. I done had World Sports or something like that. It's kind of like track and field.
Okay.
I want to say I had that game because it looks so familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And those games are so rare that they sell them for like $100,000. Yeah, I'm tight. I'm tight. Because I'm like, man, I know I had this game. And $100,000, that's unopened. Like just a loose copy, you probably get 20 easy.
Yeah, no. I'd be upset.
Man,
I wouldn't be here to make this podcast.
Man, listen. But, you know, like I did have that good fortune, was that 2 years ago? Where I came up all those comic books.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I mean, that's a story. I mean, we got 10 minutes if you want to get into that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into
Right.
it. I'm a truck driver, for the people who don't know. And there was like an app called Free.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I would go in there and check and see what was in the area, you know, for free. If it was worth my time, me to go look for it and, you know, go pick it up. And like that app, I came up on a lot of stuff, you know, for free. And so I was down there, I was getting loaded. And, you know, it was a long line, so I had some time. So I pull out my phone, I go on the free app, and I'm like, what's around here, you know, close to Charleston, South Carolina. So I'm looking, and I'm like, I was like, I screenshot it, and I sent it to Eggs over here, and I'm like, Eggs, hey, you see this?
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I think it's something good. I'm like, you think it's worth going? He was like, yeah. And
I was like, there's some stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there like, man, you think you wanna call out and try to come with me? And he was like, man, I don't know, man. I'm kind of on thin ice, man. And
I was in bad with the boss at the time. To put it in perspective, he called me Wednesday night.
Yep.
Thursday morning was when we would be going to go to this thing.
Right.
And I was on thin ice at the time of the job. And
he couldn't.
I was like, I don't know if I can.
He couldn't even come with me. So
to be fair though, at the time I was looking at it, I was like, you know, might get a $2,000-$3,000 out of this situation. I was like, that's not worth,
that's not
taking the risk on it.
That's not worth losing this job.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening, I knew I had to work, so I came up with some story, and I was just like, I ain't feeling too good. I'm going to go ahead, take the day off. You know, they said, okay. So I woke up like 4 a.m, man, and I drove to Charleston. So that was like 2-hour ride. So I get down there and I get to this house, you know, just a random house. So what ended up happening was like the guy was getting evicted, but he wasn't there. So it was just a sheriff and a bunch of people, and they was just like, you know, like the dude who owned the house, he was like, y'all can have all this shit. People going in there.
Dumbass.
Man. So
Dumbass.
huge dumbass. So dude, you know, they open up, people like, what do you want? Oh, I want the stainless steel refrigerator. I want the stainless steel appliances, the washer and dryer. See, I'm a collector. So I'm in there for the honey.
Oh, yeah.
I know what's in there.
Oh, yeah.
So boom, I go in there. I was like, man, I walked in that room. I never seen so many comic books in my life. It had to be 100,000 comic books.
And to also, I guess, say, the pictures that were put out of this house did not show comic books.
No, not.
The pictures we saw was just like gaming content. There was like some collector's editions, couple of consoles, a box or two of games.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, yeah, there's like $2,000 or $3,000 here.
Yeah.
It'd be worth going, but I was like, I couldn't get out.
So, you know, people was taking stuff. I ended up grabbing, man, I had a pickup truck, so I filled up my entire back seat, my passenger seat, and the bed of my truck with comic books, video games, collectibles, all types of stuff. So, you know, I'm calling Eggs on the phone, like, yo, I came down here, man. You should have came with me. And he was just like, man, I just couldn't, man. I was like, hey, come swing by the house afterwards.
Yep.
So I get home. I'm taking all the stuff out the truck, and then my son come in the house, and he walk in like, yo, what's all this? I was like, I just came up on it. So he's like, man, come when you finish, come downstairs and help me go through this stuff. So he going through it, and he pull out these basketball cards, yo. And he was like, Irvin Johnson. And then I was like, let me see them. Each one had a price tag on it. It was 6 cards. Each one was 900, 900, 900. I'm like, oh, it's some money in here. Yeah. So now I'm hyped.
Yeah.
So I start digging.
And he's calling me this whole time. Every time he comes up on something, he's calling me, just rubbing the shit in. I'm at work. I'm like, I can't take this risk. And every time he's calling me, he's like, man, I just found like $3,000 more worth of shit. So I'm digging in the box. I'm pulling out autograph stuff by Stan Lee. Yeah, fucking Spider-Man magazine, comics. Dude, signed by Stan Lee. Man, I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, I hit the jackpot. So I was pissed. So Eggs come over finally, and he just take a look. He was like, Jesus Christ, like, that's a lot of shit. And so he comes in, he looking, and I'm like, look at this, boom, boom. And I just see the look on his face. He tight. He like, motherfucker. Because we could have grabbed twice the amount of shit had I gone. I should have fucking risked it. You should have took the risk, man. It was worth it. I should have risked it. Yeah. Man, but it took me a solid week to go through all those comic books just to college. With my help. I came over a couple times and helped you through them. I forgot you got those cards from me. Yeah, and I went through and I was looking at them. I was looking them up. There was a pack of unopened cards. One pack of unopened baseball cards. That pack was worth $1,000. Man, I cleaned up on that. Yeah, man. It was like, Jesus. I made a lot of money off of that stuff. I sold pretty much all of it. I think I got like 10% left. But by the time I catalog everything, it was over $100,000 worth of just goods. Yeah. And man, I cleaned up like a rat, man. That was the best time. I'll never have that again. And I think the funniest thing is, like, I'm pretty sure like the week before you and I were having that conversation of finding that unopened Nintendo in like an attic or something that sells for way too much money, you know, like, and we're like, man, we'll never come across we'll never have that situation happen to us. And sure enough, that next week it hit me too. It was the day before my birthday too. Yeah. It was the day before my birthday. That was the happy birthday to me. I was so fucking mad. Like, I was happy for you. Like, I was like, you know, I was happy for you, but I was like, fuck, that I could have been a part of that. I'm telling you, we could have filled up the black car, man. Yeah, we had taken I got a hatchback. We could shove some shit in there too. And every day I think about, like, cause
I didn't get everything. So a lot of stuff just went on the tree lawn.
Yeah, it was like, what else was
what did I
fucking
miss?
in there? Yeah.
What did I miss?
Because you were just grabbing shit.
Yeah.
You were just grabbing and filling it up. You weren't taking your time to look.
No, I
other
had
people
no
were
idea.
taking stuff too.
I had no idea. And I'm pretty sure, because there was another guy there, and he knew what it was too. So he was digging.
Yeah.
And he was taking out certain issues.
Yeah, he was just looking for the big money stuff, but you were just like grab it, which I think was the smart idea.
Right.
Just get it out of there, get it going.
But I ended up, I think one comic book that I found in there was $50,000. Just one.
Yeah.
And man, what a fantastic time I had. it took up a lot of space, and my area was cluttered, but for that type of money, it was worth it, man.
Yeah.
So that'll never happen again. If it do happen again, you better fucking call.
Yeah.
If I call you, come.
Yeah. Well, that's our time.
I'm feeling it. It got me sweating over here.
Yeah. It's good. It's surprisingly smooth.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect it to be as smooth.
The white is a little smoother than the regular Hennessy. The Hennessy got some bite.
Yeah, I mean, this has a little bit of a bite too. But it's
I like
pretty
Hennessy,
smooth.
but I'm not a huge fan because after that first shot, it tastes like medicine to me. But after that, it goes down. The white, I drink this all day.
Yeah, no, this is pretty damn good.
Yeah, man, that's why it's $80.
I don't know if I'd spend $80 on it personally, but
oh man, I spent way more than this on liquor. Way more.
I buy the handle of Tito's, and that's my.
I've got stories about liquor, but this ain't a podcast about that. But anyway,
this is an alcohol podcast. This is the podcast.
I spent like $200 on the bottle one time.
Okay, we'll talk about that next time. Keep that in mind. I want to hear about that one.
Hey, but it's our time, y'all, man. What were we again? Oh, we too faded to drink.
Too faded to play.
Is Drake?
To play. It's a video game podcast.
Right,
We're talking about playing video games.
That's right. I'm a little fucked up.
I don't think you've gotten it right a single episode so far.
Because by the end, I'm pretty faded, man. I'm not moving, and when I stand up,
yeah, that's
I'm
true.
Probably gonna fall over. This wombat, man, you hit a fatal fatality on my brain. Go spit your beer.
Yeah, I was aiming to hit the camera too.
Hey, everybody, peace, man.
Have a good one. Thank you for watching. If you want to find us, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and on YouTube with video. So if you're listening, come on and listen to that.
Facts, man.
Yeah, I hope you're enjoying. We're going to keep doing this. We're having a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, we having a lot of fun. Even if y'all ain't watching, we still going to keep doing it because it's fun.
Yeah, we're just sitting here. We're drinking. It's fun to drink. It's fun to talk. So we're just going to keep doing it.
Right. Oh, God. All right, that's my time. Peace.
See ya.